Good morning, dear friends. Israel is preparing to escalate to a regional war with Iran, following the Israeli attack on Iran's consulate in Damascus, which forced Iran to establish a military deterrence capacity for the first time. Iran's counterattack, consisting of approximately 320 projectiles of three main types drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles, has caused a split among analysts into two groups. The groups are, on one side, Western politicians along with Israeli spokespersons, while on the other side we have military analysts and subject matter experts. Western politicians and Israeli spokespersons argue that Iran's counterattack was a failure because the majority of the objects were shot down by Israeli defense systems. However, military analysts and subject matter experts argue that Iran's attack was incredibly successful and achieved several important goals. Among other things, Iran obtained updated intelligence on Israel's defense system. Iran broke through the system with 5 of the payloads hitting their targets, and the downing of the 5 payloads that did hit occurred where it was intended. The analysts point out, among other things, that where the targets were struck, they were military targets and they were connected to many of the attacks Israel has carried out against Iran. Experts have expressed concern for some time that Netanyahu, out of political self-preservation, is trying to escalate the Gaza massacre into a regional war to divert attention from Israel's military failures and for himself to remain in power. Netanyahu, who is facing corruption charges and is expected to be imprisoned soon after the Gaza massacre winds down. The sequence of events and the Western political elite condemnations of Iran have been criticized in several quarters as a blatant double standard, where the UN Security Council refused to condemn Israel's act of war against an Iranian consulate, but was quick to condemn Iran's act of self-defense. Meanwhile, David Cameron, in an interview, was asked, "What would England do if one of our consulates were bombed?" And here is his answer.
We would take the very strong action. Why?
What would Britain do if a hostile nation flattened one of our consulates?
Well, we would take the very strong action.
In Sweden, we take for granted that we are a secular country. But today, I'm going to go ahead and have a look at how Christian extremists in Sweden defend Israel and participate on Israel's side in the information war. The Christian Democrats EU parliamentarian David Liaga posted the following entry on LinkedIn yesterday. David Liaga paints a picture of an innocent Israel suddenly attacked by Iran without provocation. He also points out that Iran has attacked Israel before through various proxies such as Hamas and Hezbollah. As a quick side note, we should be clear that American intelligence services were clear in March when they said that they did not have any information that told them that Iran directed the October 7 operation. And they also went on to say that their proxies are autonomous. David Liaga does not mention key factors such as Israel carrying out repeated attacks and assaults on Iran over the past decade, types of attacks that we would call outright terrorism. Furthermore, under the Likud party, Israel has mobilized both political and financial capital to convince the EU and primarily the USA to attack Iran. This has been done through a complex network of Israel-funded think tanks and AIPAC donations to various politicians, as well as preparing sound bites, talking points, and training materials for Israeli spokespeople interacting with media organizations. But this is not the first time that David Liaga has lied on behalf of Israel. A few months ago, a video was spread where David Liaga hypes or lends credibility to UN Watch's so-called revelation that UNRWA employees participated in the October 7th operation. UN Watch is an Israel-funded watchdog that almost exclusively works to undermine the UN when it comes to Israel's illegal behavior. Here's the clip.
Credible reports have shown that UNRWA staff participated in the horrible terror attacks committed by Hamas on Israel on October 7th.
Since then, we should know that up until mid-March, several media organizations have noted that Israel or UN Watch still have not provided any evidence for their accusations. However, this did not stop David Liaga from claiming that the report was highly credible. So how is it that a devout Christian man lies so flagrantly? One might suspect that this is because the Christian Democrats in Sweden, like many other Protestant religious political groups, believe that the end of the world is imminent and that a final battle between the forces of Jesus Christ and the devil will occur at the Battle of Armageddon. I know that this sounds completely crazy to secular ears, and believe me, it does to me too. Now, part of the prophecy is that the Jews will return to their biblical homeland and that Jerusalem will be their capital. The Christian Democrats have tried to get Sweden to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, despite the city's importance to the three Abrahamic religions, which led to the city being designated as an international administrative area even if there was a partition. This belief in the end times has made Western Christian fundamentalists the useful idiots of Israel's Likud party. And it looks like they're willing to destroy the earth as long as they themselves gain entry to paradise. And here's the conclusion. As part of the prophecy, all Jews are to return to their biblical homeland. And when Jesus rises again, the Jews will be given an ultimatum: to convert to Christianity or to die a painful death in hellfire. This raises the question of how it's compatible to work for this prophecy to come true and at the same time call oneself anti-Semitic, as the Christian Democrats and men like David Liaga proudly do. Food for thought. Don't forget to subscribe or contribute your own thoughts in the comments section. I created this channel because Swedish media has been completely worthless in reporting on Israel and other issues, and I want to go ahead and change that. So I wish you a fantastic day. Bye-bye.